While the Bolivar Peninsula is working to rebuild after Hurricane Ike, Galveston County is working to keep flood insurance rates down. It's sending out notices to people explaining they need to come into compliance with floodplain regulations 6 years after the hurricane. KFDM's Haley Bull reports why some families say it's hurting their recovery and why the county government says it's needed.
This scene, water rushing ashore, houses wiped away. Lasting image for the people on the Bolivar Peninsula after Hurricane Ike.
I've seen it come back from a real devastating storm, but it's still got a long way to go to be a viable community.
A community rebuilding. Moody Fredenburg moved his home and RV to Crystal Beach after the storm. 6 years later,
I got a notice from the county.
Fredenburg says the growth is threatened by this notice from the Galveston County Engineering Department.
I'm in compliance as far as I'm concerned.
It says he has no permit for his RV. The notice says if he doesn't come into compliance with the floodplain regulations, he could lose flood insurance and be subject to $100 fines every day.
I thought, well, this is crazy. I just got back off a 3-week trip in a motorhome that somebody drove by down the street and determined it appeared to be unroadworthy.
This letter is one of nearly 1,000 sent to people on the Bolivar Peninsula, citing floodplain violations of county regulations in place since 2002.
The goal of the county government is to give people as much flexibility and as much practical help as possible in coming into compliance with whatever violations may exist.
County Commissioner Dennard says the county was less aggressive enforcing the regulations while people were rebuilding after Hurricane Ike. But FEMA recently conducted a county audit, determining the regulations appropriate, but citing a need for more enforcement.
If we don't consistently enforce the regulations, then we risk the rates on our flood insurance for everyone going up. We ultimately would risk canceling it.
Anytime I can't do what I want on my property, as long as I'm not hurting a neighbor or anybody else, I think some of these rules are ridiculous.
David Altemus also received a notice about the placement of an air conditioner at this RV park he owns.
The county says asking places like this trailer park to come into compliance with floodplain regulations isn't a crackdown, but a chance to work with residents.
We'll try to find ways to help them do it in a way that's as cost-effective as possible.
But the cost, for some residents, is a concern for a community rebuilding.
We're losing kids out of the schools that parents can't afford to come into compliance, so they're just moving. They said the heck with it. We start losing kids, we lose business, we lose, we've got a community down here we're trying to build. Why are we tearing it down?
In Bolivar, Haley Bull, KFDM 6 News.
The commissioner says the county would like to see people voluntarily comply within 60 to 90 days. He says they'll work with families on a case-by-case basis.
Well, the issue has drawn a number of Facebook comments. One person wrote, "It is going to make a lot of people living in trailers homeless due to not having a title, and bonded titles cost so much, then have them registered and inspected." Another person wrote, "It's going to affect our jobs and livelihood down here. It's going to affect every part of the peninsula." And finally, this one, quote, "Typical government, we're not happy until you're not happy."